The following program does not offer personal medical advice. Please consult your doctor before using any treatment or product we cover. Welcome to Go to Health Radio with your host, Jonathan Marks. We provide a welcoming environment where experts educate you on important health topics, answer your questions, and provide information from which you can benefit in consultation with your doctor. And now, here is Jonathan Marks.
Welcome back, everybody, to Go to Health. This is Jonathan Marks, your host, where we elevate your life with expert health news you can use. And if you're a health provider, we help you get your word, wisdom, technology, expertise, books, programs out to our wonderful audience. That's why they're here. They want to elevate their lives. So we're happy to have you all with us. Today, we're going to be talking about hypnosis for vibrant health and energy. And I can attest to this because I've had hypnosis sessions with our guest. They've proved very effective to me. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to have her on the show. We're talking with Dianna Whitley. She's a hypnotherapist, coach, and best-selling author of 4 books, including Staying Young at Any Age, 15 Simple Steps to Turn Back the Clock. She discovered hypnosis over 25 years ago when she had intense insomnia after a tragedy. And after one session, she was able to sleep well again and was so impressed of how powerful it was, she decided to get certified and make it her life's work. Dianna has had 3 very successful hypnosis centers in Beverly Hills, Santa Rosa, and Huntington Beach, all in California, called Positive Changes Hypnosis, where she helped over 7,000 people. She practices privately now and has been doing her sessions, get this, she's been doing her sessions on Zoom since long before COVID. So hypnosis online is possible, and Dianna has been a pioneer. Welcome to the show, Dianna. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for that wonderful buildup.
You're most welcome. You deserve it. So let's talk about what hypnosis is. I want to get this off the table right now. There's so many misconceptions about what hypnosis is. Are you controlling people's minds? I want to get the facts out about hypnosis. Tell us about that, Dianna.
Well, if people don't get anything else today, but they do get the fact that hypnosis is a totally natural state, and it's nothing like stage hypnosis or some of the things that you've seen in movies. If you get no more than that, that is huge, because everyone starts out with, are you going to make me cluck like a chicken? Are you going to make me do stupid things? Are you going to take control of my mind? The answer is absolutely not. If I could, I would be a billionaire if I could control people's minds. And more than that, hypnosis is a totally natural state that you've already been in thousands of times, starting from a very young age. We all have. We were hypnotized by our parents, by our teachers, by our peers, by advertising big time. Those repetitious ads that you see over and over again, and suddenly you're reaching for the Charmin, that's hypnosis. Hypnosis is this big word that's gotten really ruined by Hollywood and stage hypnosis. Mm-hmm. They call it autogenics in Germany. And it's referred to in lots of places without calling it anything at all. Tony Robbins uses it. It's Think and Grow Rich when he talks about envisioning things. I would call that hypnosis. It's a light trance state where you're focusing it on something that you want. That trance state is something that also is totally natural. We have 4 brain waves. The first one is beta, where we are right now. Mind going a mile a minute, and it includes, unfortunately, the monkey mind yammering away at you. Mm-hmm. Then we have alpha, which is a really pleasant state. And then theta, which is like being in a hammock with a drink, looking at a sunset. You're just totally relaxed. And then delta. Delta is where you are when you're solidly asleep. Mm-hmm. That's another thing that people are confused about with hypnosis. They think that you fall asleep. You don't. Your body kind of falls asleep. You get totally, completely relaxed. but your mind is still awake, aware, and listening to every word that I say, unless you're in the 1% that quote goes out. And they don't remember anything consciously, but that doesn't matter because the subconscious is what we're trying to reach and do reach. The subconscious is what's running the show. The conscious mind, we think we're all doing everything from our conscious minds, and we're not. The conscious mind can only handle about 5 to 7 things at a time. And it's more comfortable with 5 than 7.
Right.
The subconscious mind handles thousands of things all at once. And its number one job is to keep us alive. So it's beating our heart, making our eyes blink, regulating our liver, doing all the things that keep us alive. The second thing it does is to keep us safe. And this goes back thousands of years to when we had to look out for a saber-toothed tiger or a snake. So we had to be on alert. And that's a good thing to not get killed by the tiger, but it's not so good when it's just things like technology that are stressing us out and doing the same thing, raising our blood pressure, making our heart beat too fast. And in the long run, over time, all those little stressful events are really destructive to our health. So getting control of the subconscious mind and kind of giving it a new blueprint, or thinking of it as a computer, because computers were actually based on the human mind. In fact, there's no computer as good as the human mind is. So if you think of it as your mind is like a computer that maybe got a virus in it, or maybe it wasn't programmed quite correctly when you were a kid, because all our parents do the best they can do, but being a parent's a hard job, and parents mess up. They don't mean to. But that gets imprinted. And when a kid is young, under the age of 7, they're almost constantly in their subconscious. There's no filter there. Everything just goes right in. So if a parent says you're lazy or you're stupid or, oh, you always do that, that goes in and stays in really deeply unless you change it. And you change it by reprogramming it, by getting into this beautiful, relaxed state. And then in the way I do it, everyone does it a little differently, but I get really clear in the first half of the session about what the person wants. We all know what we don't want. Mm-hmm. So I really pull that out in all the luscious details. Then we do the hypnosis. Their eyes are closed. They're listening to my voice. So it's just the same as if they were in my office. And I figured that out because I have friends all over the country and in England and Canada. And I suddenly went, I could be working with them on Zoom. So there they are now in this relaxed state, listening to the session, which I record so they can listen to it again and again. Repetition is part of the magic. And in that session where I'm describing how they want to be, but describing it in the present as though they're there right now, having achieved all their goals, that creates a new blueprint. And it's like a play that you rehearse so much that you become the character in the play. It's that repetition and doing it in that deeply relaxed state makes it become real. And it's such a wonderful way to do it. It's so funny because so many people are nervous about hypnosis when it's this incredibly blissful, relaxed, wonderful state to be in. And so the first thing most people say when they open their eyes after their first session is, wow, because it's just not what they were expecting.
Mm-hmm. Dianna, I want to jump in here for just a second and reinforce what you're saying about repetition, because we know this about how people learn knowledge and learn new skills, which is often we think, hey, I told somebody something, so therefore they must know it. Well, yes, they'll know it in that moment, but when they walk away and go back to living their lives, it kind of goes to the back of the mind or maybe even gets forgotten. So it really helps to repeat information for people so that it becomes more familiar with them. And it's also good for you as a learner to repeat information, because each time you do, it goes in more deeply. So I know Dianna, when she does a session with you, as she said before, records it so that you can listen to it again and again. And that's part of the lasting effect of the work that Dianna does. Have I said that correctly?
No, that was perfect. Thank you. And by the way, most people listen to it as they go to sleep at night, so it doesn't take any time out of their day, and they sleep like a baby, much deeper than they would have otherwise. But you brought up such good points about learning. We learn with the conscious mind, that little pitiful 5 to 7 things at a time. And then we incorporate it into the subconscious mind over time, not the first time. And I really learned that once, even before I became a hypnotherapist, because I'd been to a lecture that was great. And I got the recording of it, and I was listening to it later, and I went, when did he say that? Whoa, when did he say that? I was listening, I was focused, I didn't hear that. And I finally realized that as he would say things, I would start, we talk to ourselves all the time. So now I'm talking to myself about what he's saying. And I missed a whole part. And then he says something else interesting, and I missed a whole part. Our brains are operating at all these different levels. So the points you made were perfect.
Good, thanks. So tell us, what's the variety of issues or problems or challenges that people come to you with when they want to consider using hypnosis to relieve the problem or get through it or create a new blueprint, as you say? What's the variety of issues people come to you with?
It's huge. It's just almost endless. It's almost like you could say, can you do hypnosis for that? And the answer would be yes. I'm sure there are a few exceptions, but in the health field, it's particularly wonderful because all of us are suffering from stress, and stress then gets its tentacles into everything. Doctors finally figured out that 90% of the visits to their offices originate in stress, and then they become health problems in a variety of ways. Stress releases cortisol. It's more fattening than ice cream. And it just throws our body into mayhem. So a lot of the things that work really well for it are, as well as relieving stress, anxiety, stop smoking, of course, is a big one with hypnosis, sleeping better, but then also things like fibromyalgia, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, long COVID. 20% of the people that get COVID end up with symptoms from it for months. They don't even know how long. And I'm not saying we cure it, but we sure help those symptoms enormously. Also, seeing people for their self-esteem issues, their self-image issues, that affects their health too. Lots of people have what we call the imposter syndrome, where you're doing all these great things, but in your mind, you're thinking, oh, if they really knew, they'd know I'm not so good, or I'm not as good as that one. It's a really prevalent thing, especially with people that are successful.
What about if people, I'm just thinking for people who have some kind of block, let's say writer's block, or they procrastinate a lot, or they just have a habit that's really annoying. Can that help?
It's perfect for that. Those habits we go back to the computer program. That's a program that's in there. We learn everything, and everything becomes a habit. So if you remember when you learned to drive a car, if you're as old as I am, you learned with a clutch. I don't know if everyone does that today.
Yep.
And it's very stilted and awkward, and you're trying to focus, and it's, now you get in your car, maybe the kids are in the back, or a dog, or maybe you're talking on the phone, you're listening to the radio. You couldn't have done all that at the beginning. But what happened was you learned it with your conscious mind, and then it got incorporated into the subconscious mind. So have you ever gotten in your car to go somewhere and suddenly you're there and you go, how did I get here? I don't remember getting here.
Yes, I've done that a number. I won't say how many times, but I've done it enough times to remember that I ended up somewhere else.
Oh, there's that too. But I even mean when you get to the place you meant to go.
Go ahead.
It works both ways, actually. Yeah. Probably you were going somewhere that was similar to a place you had gone a lot. And so then the subconscious kicked in. But I mean, where you get exactly where you were going, but you don't remember getting there. It's because your conscious mind was thinking of what you have to do later in the day, or where you're going to go on vacation, and what are you going to pack, whatever it's thinking of. The subconscious mind took over because it's a habit. The good and the bad of that is we would go crazy if we had to think of everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When we learn to walk is another great example. Very difficult. If we still had to really engineer all that and direct all that, we'd never go anywhere. But it got incorporated in the subconscious mind. Learning a musical instrument. All of these things become habits. And along with those things, our thinking becomes habits, our attitudes, our beliefs, our self-image. And those limiting beliefs really get in our way. And with health, it really gets in your way, because if you have a low self-image, and people don't even like to think that they do, but from where I stand, a lot of people, almost everyone grapples with it in some area. And if you have that, it's going to be hard for you to go to the gym. It's going to be hard for you to eat well. It's going to be hard for you to go to bed on time or not drink too much, because taking care of yourself goes hand in hand with loving yourself. And we live in a really weird society where we're taught from a young age to not love ourselves, to think that if we love ourselves, it's conceited and we're full of ourselves. Whereas loving ourselves is actually one of the most important things we can ever do. And we can't love other people without loving ourselves.
Okay, so we're just about at the end of the time for this first segment. I want you to stick with us, though, because Dianna is going to be back with us first to talk about her background and all the kinds of success she's had with patients. And in our third segment, it's a real treat. We're actually going to do a hypnosis session where you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the talent that Dianna has in taking us through hypnosis. And again, she's not going to be controlling our minds. It's really helping put us in a state of relaxation and allowing our subconscious mind to take hold and have some influence over us and to develop new pathways in our brains, new habits. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a minute.
You are listening to Go to Health Radio. To reach Jonathan Marks or his guest expert on the live program, call in to 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. You may also send an email to jonathanmarks@gotohealthmedia.com. Now, back to this week's show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Jonathan Marks with our guest, Dianna Whitley, and we're talking about hypnosis for vibrant health and energy. And if you want to follow Dianna or learn more about it, she has a website called Get Results with Hypnosis. That's getresultswithhypnosis.com. And you can learn more about Dianna and her services. So Dianna, I want you to share with our audience more about how you got into hypnosis. I mentioned it briefly at the beginning, but I'd like you to share with us more about your path in this area and the businesses you've had, and really to share with us your success and insights. So please go ahead.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. So I actually started hypnosis when I was 12 years old, but I didn't remember that for years.
Wow.
I had read a book, I hypnotized my friends, and it scared me to death. So I put it away, didn't think about it again.
So you're kind of a natural.
I guess so, but it's so weird that I didn't even remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Then years later, I was a photographer and a writer. I was working with TV and movie people like Demi Moore, Michael J. Fox, and David Hasselhoff, people from Dallas and Dynasty, and it was all very exciting and very sort of high gear. Then one day, I had a younger brother who died very suddenly and very horribly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was awful. And I couldn't sleep for months without sleeping pills. And I'm a health nut. I hated taking these pills, but I couldn't sleep without them. And even then, I didn't sleep very well. So one day someone said, why don't you try hypnosis? I thought, hypnosis? They're going to make me cluck like a chicken?
Mm-hmm. That's usually the first question, right?
So I went and had the session, and I'm one of the 1% that quote goes out, that doesn't stay present, that just goes deep into the subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of it, I said, well, that was interesting, but it feels like I just went to sleep. Did I just go to sleep? And she laughed and she said, well, you came to me for intense insomnia. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's probably not very likely.
So this was back in the day of cassette tapes. So I took the tape home and I went to sleep to it and slept like a baby. 3-4 nights, every night, sleeping like a baby. And I'm starting to function better as well. Not just from, you don't function very well when you don't sleep, but also because she had put lots of suggestions in there about my getting back to my life. So I wanted to hear what she was saying. And I sat at the kitchen table and listened to it. I was fascinated. I called her and asked a bunch of questions. And she said, I bet you'd make a good hypnotherapist. Next thing I knew, I had a center in Beverly Hills, and then another one in Santa Rosa up north, and then another one in Orange County. So about 7,000 people. And
amazing.
It just took off. It's such a powerful thing. It's such a great thing to share with people and to help them with and to open up their lives, open the door to what they want.
And really, this is an ability we have on our own and that we actually experience, as you were saying earlier, but you kind of assist with that process.
Yeah, I'm the director of the movie. You're the star of the movie.
Got it. Okay, good. And tell us again, what kind of problems did people come to you with? What were some of your big sellers in terms of, problems that people approached you with?
Back then, it was mainly weight loss, probably about 80% of the people that we saw. But weight loss includes what I talked about was low self-esteem, taking care of yourself.
Right.
Then the rest was smoking, better golf, better soccer, better learning, fear of airplanes, you name it. But the weight was really interesting. It was all interesting. But these were people that came from very, the areas that I was in, pulling in very successful people. Mm-hmm. And yet they all had this inner imposter syndrome and this inner low self-esteem and wondering when it was all going to be taken away. It's very prevalent.
You were doing this at the time all in person?
Yes.
Was it individually or group?
It was a combination. I had big centers with employees, and they would come in for personal sessions. Mm-hmm. We had a big group room where they would listen to recorded sessions with these glasses that have these little flickering lights. Mm-hmm. It's something I can provide for people if they want. But it was a big part of what we did there. Right. And then I gave a lot of classes, and I, to this day, still educate people a lot on how their mind works, on those neural pathways that are like a path through the woods, that if you stop going down that path, it's going to get grown over, and you go down the new path that gets more and more traveled. That's now the path of least resistance. That's
a wonderful image. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I'm curious now, you said you've been doing this on Zoom for a while. Tell us, how long have you been doing this? I won't say Zoom, but let's say virtually. How long have you been doing this virtually, and what kind of response have you had? Is it as effective? Is it the same? How's it different?
It's absolutely as effective, if not more so, because it's more convenient to people. They don't have to get in their car and drive to see me. Mm-hmm. And once they're in that wonderful, relaxed, pink cloud, they don't have to go out and deal with traffic. Mm-hmm. And so it's a much more personal experience. And I figured that out about a year before COVID, because as I said before, I have friends all over the country and in England and Canada. And one day it occurred to me that I could be seeing them, that their eyes are closed, they're listening to my voice, I'm recording it. It's no different.
Very interesting. So this is really a business that you've taken virtually, and you can do virtually as well as in person. That's wonderful.
And I also forgot to say that I teach people EFT or tapping, where you tap on these key points, they're meridians.
Now let's describe that a little bit for people, because I'm sure most people don't know what that is.
Okay. It's called the emotional freedom technique. It's actually been around for 40 years, but it's just now getting to be known by people because they've now done studies where they've proved that it works, that it's not a placebo effect, that it's not in people's minds, that this combination of the things that we say at the same time that we tap on these acupressure points actually has a huge effect. They've measured cortisol coming down, they've measured heartbeat, they've measured results that people get with things like losing weight. Mm-hmm. And compared to not using it, it's really powerful.
So the tapping, so is somebody tapping on you or are you tapping on yourself? How does this work?
I teach them to tap on themselves. Everything I do is geared to have people be on their own 2 feet as quickly as possible.
Got it. Okay. So you're tapping on yourself, where? On your head, your shoulders, your arms? Where are you tapping?
It's a whole series of points. And when I teach people, I give them a diagram. I tape that, so they have all the instructions. Mm-hmm. And it's just wonderful, again, to see the look on people's faces when, for instance, pain goes away that they've had for years. And suddenly it's gone and they kind of look around like, where did it go?
Wow. And this is, what does this do? Does this create does this tapping, what does it bring about in the body, or what sensations do you have when you do all this tapping, other than the fact that you're tapping yourself?
I don't know if people really have sensations, but we put a number to what they're feeling on a scale of 0 to 10. So anger, stress, fear, whatever. Right. And then we do the tapping, and that's when, at the end of it, they're kind of, again, looking around going, where did it go? I was so stressed out a minute ago. Mm-hmm. It's a series of points and a series of things that we say. And it's easy to learn. I love teaching it. I just taught it to a whole bunch of hypnotherapists in England and Canada. Zoom.
On Zoom. And I was going to say, I'll bet you did it virtually, didn't you?
Yeah.
Good. So let me ask another question. You've mentioned cortisol a couple of times, and I think you said before it's more fattening than ice cream. What did you mean when you said that?
Cortisol. Now, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not very good at describing really scientific things, but I can say that the science is there. The scientific studies have been done that when we release cortisol, we're either in fight or flight, or we're in a relaxed state. Those are the two gears that the nervous system operates in. Mm-hmm. When we're in fight or flight and releasing that cortisol, it's meant to help us run away from the tiger. And so all the blood goes into the center core of the body, and we're able to, if it's in today's world, jump out of the way of a car that's almost going to hit us. Mm-hmm. And that's great. That's life-saving. But it's not what you want for everyday life. And we were living really stressful lives before COVID. Now it's ridiculous. Right. So that cortisol is just so damaging in so many ways. And one of them is it puts the body in a fat, holding on to the fat, because it doesn't know when we're going to get fat again.
I see. Okay. So
it's fat in emergency mode. Right. So we hold on. And then once that fat gets into that biologically, then it's hard to let go of it. Got it.
So it's really like fat retention instead of processing it in some way, which is what the body uses when it needs quick energy. It's holding on to it because you're not sure when your next meal is going to come from.
Exactly. And also your heartbeat gets faster, so it's harder on your heart. Mm-hmm. Blood pressure goes up. You don't want that. It literally can lead to heart attacks and strokes. I mean, when they say stress kills, they're not kidding. Yeah. Stress is really, really damaging.
Now, you've talked about stress during COVID times. I know one of the populations that has had tremendous stress and actually big increases in suicide is young people and teenagers. Now, does hypnosis work with younger people?
younger people love it. The younger they are, the more it's like a game to them.
Mm.
They don't have all the resistance that we have built up over the years as adults.
Right.
And when they're really younger, their filters, as I said earlier, are wide open. So they don't have that critical, judgmental mind yammering at them all the time.
Wow. Okay. Good. Well, so really, this could be really helpful if you have a child who's been through a stressful situation, or they're stressed in the house because they've been at home for too long. This can be really good for kids and teenagers as well.
And it's like a game. The tapping part especially is like a game to them. So
got it. Good. All right. Well, we're at the end of another segment. We'll be back in just a minute. If you do like our program, please take a moment and share a testimonial with us. You can go to gotohealthmedia.com and click testimonials. And if you want to get show updates, you can do that as well at gotohealthmedia.com. You click get updates. If you want to listen to us on Voice America, you can do that on Voice America, as well as your favorite podcast network. We're at least on 7 different podcast networks. And you can also watch us on video at gotohealthmedia.com on the video tab. So stick with us. We're going to be back with a really special treat. Dianna Whitley is going to take us through a hypnosis session. We'll do it all together. No clucking. And just really being able to relax and focus on something relaxing. Her website, again, is getresultswithhypnosis.com. Stay with us. We'll be back with another segment featuring a hypnotic session. Stay with us.
You are listening to Go to Health Radio. To reach Jonathan Marks or his guest expert on the live program, call in to 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. You may also send an email to jonathanmarks@gotohealthmedia.com. Now, back to this week's show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Jonathan Marks. We're talking with Dianna Whitley about hypnosis for vibrant health and energy. Her website is getresultswithhypnosis.com. And in this segment, after a little bit of talking between Dianna and myself so you can learn more, we're actually going to do a hypnosis segment. So if you're in a relaxed place, try to get relaxed. If you're driving, I would suggest listening to this later. I don't want you to get into any accidents, but do listen to this when you can be relaxed, because it will be very helpful for you. Dianna, before we get started with the hypnosis segment, tell us what kind of services you provide on Zoom, how people can get in touch with you, and what they will receive when they do. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, everything starts with a free session. I do some testing, see how good a candidate the person is for hypnosis. Most people can be hypnotized, but some people are better or worse candidates than others. And I'm very honest with them if I feel they're not the best candidate. Mm-hmm. And it's the opposite, by the way, of what most people think. They think, oh, you'd have to be weak-minded, or, the idea of being suggestible. It's the exact opposite. The smarter you are, the more imaginative you are, the better a candidate you are. Mm-hmm. You are a great candidate, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So it's true. So we do that. We talk about your goals, what you would like, where you'd like to be. And I get, some clarity on that, because as I said before, most people are much more clear about what they don't want than what they do want.
Right.
And then I suggest the number of sessions based on that free session. And we both decide if it's a good fit for both of us. So it's a mutual kind of evaluation. And then at that point, it's all individual. If you, and it's not always as logical as you'd think. Mm-hmm. Because, for instance, someone who only has 10 pounds to lose, that might be as hard for them as someone who has 100 pounds to lose. So it's a collaborative effort, and we're constantly talking, and sometimes it's very short, sometimes it goes over time. Could be for weight loss, stopping smoking, wanting to be more confident, limiting beliefs, better
How about
health,
fear?
fear.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Got it.
absolutely. And anxiety. Anxiety is also really prevalent. And brain fog is a big thing today because of all the stress. It's really turned our brains into mush.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Not
Well,
all the time.
listen, without further ado, let's go into this hypnotic session. Everybody, if you can, get in a relaxed position. I'm not going to say any more. I'll let Diana do the guiding here. But please enjoy this, and we'll do this and come back at the very end for a very quick goodbye. And again, a reminder of next steps. So Diana, take us into it.
Okay, thank you. There'll be no hocus pocus. But as Jonathan said, if you're driving, either stop and pull over to the side or do it later. You do not want to listen to this when you're doing machinery or anything that you have to really focus on. Other than that, just let it happen. So, if you're ready to be hypnotized, take a nice deep breath. Close your eyes. Maybe notice the sensation of being supported by the surface beneath you. You might be aware that there's nowhere to go, nothing to do, other than simply relax into this moment. Doing this in your own unique way. There's no right or wrong way to do it. There's just your way, the way that's just right for you. And the more you listen to this audio, the more you'll find that you'll relax easily and more quickly. For this is actually a learned skill. You get better and better at it. Now you might have a sense of heaviness or lightness. You might have a little tingling in your feet or toes, or you might not feel anything in particular at all. Your mind might chatter. Usually does. That's what our conscious minds do. Just let all of those thoughts go like leaves down a stream. Keep coming back to my voice. Keep coming back to your breathing. And if you hear any outside sounds, just allow those sounds to cause you to go deeper. So the sounds are very far away and very relevant to you, for you're deep in your own internal world, feeling relaxed and calm. It's as if your body goes to sleep while your mind remains awake and listening to every word I say. So take another nice deep breath, filling your lungs with life-giving oxygen. And this time, when you're ready, exhale with a sigh, releasing any tension, any anxiety or stress, letting go of all the thoughts and cares of the day, knowing that this is the most important thing you can do right now. This is a gift that you're giving yourself. And as you breathe in and out at your own comfortable pace, you'll find yourself relaxing more and more with every word I say, drifting deeper and deeper, every muscle going loose and limp, like a handful of loose rubber bands, drifting and floating through time and space. No one wants anything. No one expects anything. This is your time. The only thing you're listening to now is the sound of my voice. So your mind drifts without boundaries, without borders or limits. As you relax and go deeper, the deeper you go, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the deeper you go, as your subconscious mind locks onto every positive suggestion. So now I'd like you to imagine that you're at the top of a flight of stairs, looking at 10 steps going down. They could be wooden steps going down to a beach. Could be stone steps going into a beautiful garden. Could be a stairway in a beautiful house going down to a beautiful room. On the top step, step 10, the muscles in your neck and shoulders relax. Step 9, feeling your feet on the step. Step 8, seeing your feet, hearing your feet connect. Step 7, going deeper. Step 6, the sound of your own breathing takes you even deeper. Step 5, you're halfway there. Step 4, moving into a deeper awareness of yourself and the connection between your mind and your body. Step 3, going easily, gently, calmly deeper. Step 2, tapping into your inner strengths and abilities. Step 1, deep inside, where all your answers are. So whether you're in a beautiful room or on a beach or in a garden, there's a chair and a large pot in front of it. You go over to it, and I'd like you to imagine that it's filled with a cleansing, soothing, healing liquid. And as you look at it, your inner voice, that inner wisdom, tells you that this is meant for you. So you sit down and place your feet into it. As you do, your body begins to absorb this liquid, warming your feet, relaxing your feet, soothing your feet. And this warm, healing, cleansing liquid moves into your ankles, up your legs, into your knees, relaxing every muscle, every nerve, every fiber as it goes up your body, moving up your thighs, into your torso, soothing all of the muscles and all of your organs, bringing health to all of your systems, your respiratory system, your digestive system, your nervous system, your endocrine system, bringing balance and health into these systems, your skeletal and muscular system, your cardiovascular system, your lymphatic system, and your immune system. Every system in your body is experiencing optimum health, balance, and harmony. This wonderful feeling of total relaxation is moving up to your chest now, relaxing, cleansing, and healing all of the organs in your chest, then moving down your arms to your fingertips, then back up into your shoulders and your neck, healing every cell, every nerve, every fiber. Your entire body is full of this cleansing, healing liquid, and it feels so good. It's doing its cleansing work. And now it's leaving your body from the bottoms of your feet, leaving your body, having cleansed any toxins, any imbalance. After absorbing the health, it's also absorbed anything that you need to get rid of. You can do this process, doing it on one part of your body, a muscle, an organ, something that hurts, or you can do it for just general health and energy. Your subconscious mind will continue this process long after the session is over, continuing to heal and restore optimum health so you can have the life that you want and the health that you want, the energy that you want. So the cleansing liquid is leaving your body now, taking away any toxins. As the last few drops leave, your body fills with natural, good energy in its place. And as you breathe in, I wonder if you can imagine that you're breathing in, revitalizing, renewing, balancing energy, allowing you to enjoy optimum health. You're developing healthy habits in your everyday life, eating healthy food, avoiding things that are unhealthy, staying relaxed and calm through the day, exercising regularly, keeping your mind healthy with positive thoughts, taking care of your emotional and spiritual health. So imagine waking up in the morning, enjoying a renewed sense of energy, breathing easily, moving easily, your mind, body, and soul in perfect harmony, perfect balance. Imagine yourself in the coming days and weeks and months, growing in strength, enjoying health and well-being, realizing that all is well. Day by day, you're becoming more and more healthy, for your mind and your body now have a new blueprint to create the health you want and the life you want. If you're listening to this at night, take all of this into your sleep and into your dreams. Waking in the morning full of energy, excited about the day ahead, and just ignore the rest of what I'm going to say now, which is, if you're listening during the day, it's time to come back to room awareness as I count from 1 to 5. When I get to 5, you'll open your eyes and be wide awake, fully alert. 1, feeling the energy come back into your body. 2, waking up a little bit more. 3, maybe moving your hands, your feet, fingers, and toes. 4, feeling as though you'd had a long, restful, restorative nap. And 5, opening your eyes, excited about the adventure of the day ahead, maybe stretching your arms, feeling absolutely wonderful.
Thank you, Dianna.
Well, thank you. I got to go there with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely in a different place from where we were when we started the show. Thank you for this. This is very healing.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Good. So, everybody, if you're interested in learning more about hypnosis and getting help from Dianna Whitley, you can go to getresultswithhypnosis.com. And there are a number of ways you can opt in on the website. You can click the contact tab and send Dianna a message, and she will send you a recording of this hypnosis session. And you can also get a free consultation with her, as she described before. Dianna, thanks so much for being with us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. This has been great. And I really, really appreciate being here.
Yeah, you do wonderful work. And everybody who's listening, I hope you will take advantage of this and learn more about improving your health. That's why we're here, to bring you experts who can elevate your life and help you improve your existence. Okay, everybody, we will see you next week for another show. And remember, go to health. Take care. God bless.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you for tuning in this week to Go to Health Radio. Be sure to join Jonathan Marks and another health expert next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and 12 noon Pacific Time on the Voice America Variety Channel. You can also catch the program on your favorite podcast platform. Until our next show, be sure to visit us on the web at gotohealthmedia.com and elevate your life.